Awesome, awesome. All right, well, I'm so happy to be here finally. Like, I literally just got here probably about 2 hours ago. And my luggage is somewhere in Seattle or Phoenix. I don't know. We'll see when I get back home. Who knows? Um, but as Brittany stated, my name is Harold. I'm one of the co-founders of Kidvation. We are a nonprofit organization based out of Oklahoma. So I bring greetings from the Sooner State of Oklahoma, maybe also the Tornado State, because we have a lot of tornadoes as well. But if you haven't figured it out yet, Kidvation, it's a play on kids, innovation, match together. So if you were curious where the name comes about, that's what Kidvation is for. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about our organization and what we do. I promise this is not necessarily a sales pitch per se, but it's really just more so to give you options for education. Like, we want you to know what type of innovative education curriculums are out there. So this is me and my two colleagues. We are the three brainchilds behind Kidvation, or maybe the Three Stooges, who knows? Depends on how you look at it. But those are some fun facts about us. But in the fall of 2022, we came together as a team, became the Education Avengers, and we decided to, take that leap of faith and leave our current positions, and we really wanted to see what it would be like to work together to really take innovative education, not only in Oklahoma, but across the nation and across the world. So, before we get too deep into my presentation, we're going to have a little fun first, okay? We're going to work on our creativity. So, how many of you have ever done the marshmallow challenge? Raise your hand. And no, I'm not talking about where you stuff a bunch of marshmallow. Yeah, put your hand. Yeah, put your hand down. I'm not talking about the chubby bunny. Not that one. Not that one. I'm talking about the marshmallow challenge with spaghetti sticks, where you try to build a tower. That's the one I'm talking about. Okay. So we are going to do the marshmallow challenge. All right. So this challenge has been done on all 7 continents across all age groups, and it's a great way to test out what we like to call is the 4 C's, and that is creativity, communication, collaboration, and critical thinking. Those are the 21st century skills that all students are going to need to really thrive, okay? So I'm going to get Danica and Brittany's help, if you don't mind. So what I need, and I know we're all kind of spread out, but I only have 12 bags, so I need 12 teams. You figure out who's on your team. But I need 12 teams, maybe roughly 4 or 5-ish people on a team. And so figure out who your teams are. Okay? And so I'm going to have Brittany to start passing out bags to those teams. Okay, do not open the bag. Do not take anything out. Just let the bag sit on your table. Just let the bag sit. Okay, and then Brittany, I also need your help. Okay, so I need you to give a yard of tape to each team. Just kind of guesstimate how much it is, but I need you to give a yard of tape to each team. Do not open those bags. Don't open those bags. Don't open those bags just yet. Okay, so as Brittany's coming around passing out tape to your team, so here's your objective, okay? So with your team, in 7 minutes, and I shortened this time because I know you guys are smart, so I shortened the time, okay? In 7 minutes, as a team, you have to build the tallest freestanding tower that you can out of those spaghetti sticks, and the marshmallow has to rest on top of that tower without it falling down, okay? Keyword, freestanding. That means you can't use the bag, you can't tape it down to the table, you can't balance it up against your beer. It has to be freestanding, okay? Freestanding tower, all right? Okay. You can use all the spaghetti sticks, you can use some of the spaghetti sticks, you can break them. Check with your team first so they don't cuss you out if you break them and they didn't want you to break them, all right? Okay. All right, so 7 minutes. Hold on, Brittany, does everybody have tape? Are we good? Hold on, don't start yet. Don't start yet. Don't you open that bag just yet. Does everybody have tape? We good? Are we good? Tape. Everybody has tape? Hey, you guys took the stuff out the bag. You guys weren't supposed to take the stuff out the bag yet. Are we good? Everybody have tape? No? Who else needs tape? One more. Okay, so tallest freestanding tower, marshmallow on top, and the marshmallow can be stuck into the spaghetti stick, okay? But it has to be on top of the tower without it collapsing, all right? Everybody have tape? We good? Think she's passing out one more? Are we good? Brittany, everybody got tape? Brittany, we're good? Okay, here we go. 7 minutes starts now. Maybe, if it moves. Okay, it doesn't want to move, so I'm going to time it. I'm going to do it on my phone. 7 minutes. I see two. I see two. I think that's the winner chicken dinner back there. It looks the highest. Jerry, can you get a picture of that winning team back there? Get a picture of those winners. Get a picture of the winners. Let's go. Let's go. Awesome job. Awesome. Okay. Man, that was intense. I like it. That was intense. Okay. So I promise you, we'll come back to that in just a moment. It will relate to everything that I'm talking about in this presentation. I promise you. Okay. So Kidvation, we are a nonprofit, as I mentioned. We are a project-based learning curriculum provider. And so we work with students primarily between the ages of 8 to 18, and we teach them about innovation and innovative thinking and how to apply it to real-world pathways. And so our whole ethos, our whole belief system is that students have a superpower. They are superhuman, and it's their imagination. And so we want to help empower them to create innovative solutions to solve real-world problems. And so that's what we try to do. And so since fall of 2022, we have now grown our program. We actually need to update this. We are roughly in now 15 plus states in 6 countries. And so we work with students in Pakistan and India and Mexico, Lesotho, Africa, Nigeria, and the Ivory Coast. We've also done some work in Thailand as well. And so we're really excited about the growth that we've had in these about year and a half, 2 years. And so hopefully Oregon will be next up on that list, and we can change that here soon. So, all right, so you may or may not have heard of the George Land study. And if you have, you don't say anything. You just act like you didn't know, okay? But this is a great study that we like to use that kind of shows the relationship between creativity and innovation in youth, okay? So in the 1960s, we all know that NASA was trying to send man to the moon, okay? And so in order to do this, they needed the best, the brightest, the best engineers, the best researchers, the best scientists on this project. And so in order to do that, they contracted with a man named George Land, who was also a system scientist, a researcher, and he had his own consulting firm that specialized in the study of creative performance. And so what George Land decided to do was basically come up with this creativity test to kind of measure creative genius to see like who's the best and brightest that should be on this test, right? And so we don't know exactly how the test went with the engineers, but we do know the test was roughly around 1968. Man went to the moon the very next year. So we like to think that George Land possibly had something to do with that, right? But that's really not why he's famous. He's actually famous for what he did after the test. So he pretty much said, hey, I can give this test to anybody and kind of measure their creative performance. And so he decided to give this test to roughly 1,600 4- and 5-year-olds in an early Head Start program. He then made the test a longitudinal study. He gave them the same test again at age 10, same test again at age 15. After age 15, the kids kind of dispersed, moved, and so he then gave the test to 280,000 30-year-olds. And the results of this test are pretty interesting. So I'm going to get your feedback. So from 0 to 100%, how many 5-year-olds do you think scored as a creative genius on this test? 5, 10, 100, still give me 9, give me, okay, I heard 100. What else you got? 100? I'm hearing 100. 100? Okay, you guys are close. 98%. 98% of those 5-year-olds were considered a creative genius. And so this wasn't like an IQ test. This is more of a how do they innovatively solve problems, right? Okay, same kids, 5 years later, same test. Where do you think those numbers were? 50, 65, 5, give me 75, okay. 30%. 30%. Same kids, same test, dropped 68%. Okay. Same kids, same test, age 15. Teenagers, a little bit smarter now, you know. I heard a 5, just right out the bat, 5. Well, 2, you said 2? Okay. Jeez. 12%. 12%. Did you say 12? Did you say 12? Okay, 12%. Okay, all right, so mind you, after 15, as I mentioned, they kind of moved away. He took 280,000 30-year-olds. 30-year-olds, so we've been to college, trade schools. We bounced back, right? We're a little bit smarter. We know about life. Where do you think those numbers were? What'd you say? You said 2, 5, 3. I need to take her with me to get a lottery ticket. 2%. 2%. And it's kind of crazy, too, because those numbers are inverse of each other, the age 5 and age 30. I know these numbers look depressing, don't they? They look a little bit depressing, right? But we see these numbers the same way that George Land sees these numbers. And so the way that George Land sees these numbers is he says that we all can be at 98% if we choose to be. If we want to be, we can be at 98%. Because creativity is about learned behaviors. It's not about genetics. You're not born creative. It's no different than learning how to play the piano, right? You have to practice at it. And so creativity is the same thing. You have to learn to be creative. You have to have these repeatable behaviors to keep you in that creative genius space. And so we like to use this quote from the book, The Innovator's DNA Handbook, and I would recommend that book to anyone. And it says, one's ability to generate innovative ideas is not merely a function of the mind, but also a function of behaviors, as I just mentioned. This is good news for us all because it means that if we can change our behaviors, we can improve our creative impact. And so that's what we try to do at Kidvation. We teach students what we call the repeatable behaviors of innovative thinkers. And so these are things like giving yourself permission to even think about, things that you thought that you couldn't do. Divergent thinking, convergent thinking. We teach kids that ideas are currency. The more that you have, the more valuable you are. And so we do this through our project-based learning curriculum, which we actually call Applied Imagination. And so it teaches kids applied skills, business aptitude, and entrepreneurial thinking. And so first we lay down the whole foundation of innovation, just how to think like an innovator. And then from there, it can go into one of our 4 active pathways. So we're really about real-world learning, real-world experience. And so we have 4 active pathways, one being social activism. And so in this pathway, students learn about causes, initiatives, programs that they want to get behind to influence their school, their state level, local level. They're going to learn about program development, online activism, budgeting, like how much would it cost if I wanted to start a feeding program in my neighborhood. They're going to learn about these things. And then their goal is to actually implement the program at least once during the semester at their school. Youth entrepreneurship is our next pathway. Our most popular, it is. Youth entrepreneurship. Students are going to learn about all the facets of entrepreneurship, from ideation to creation. They're going to learn about, budgeting, marketing, gross and net. And their goal is to actually develop a product prototype and hopefully bring it to market. Our next pathway is research and development. So this one is a little bit higher level thinking. We typically aim this one at middle school to high school age students. And we kind of joke and say this is them kind of researching the research. So they're basically going to come up with like cutting edge research study to see what kind of concepts and things that they could come up with to impact the world. And so we touch a lot on STEM in this one as well as AI. And so this one is more conceptual, where youth entrepreneurship and social activism is more tangible because they're going to actually do a program or actually come up with a product. With research and development, it's more of a concept, kind of more of a glorified, science project. And then lastly, we have a faith-based impact pathway. We are a faith-based organization, and so we do have a separate pathway for that. And so this one is kind of a combination of social activism and youth entrepreneurship, to where we just challenge students to activate their faith and get it off the sidelines and into the game. And so these are some wonderful pictures of some of the students that we get to work with across Oklahoma, across the nation. Kind of want to point out this picture to the top left. This was a really cool project that we do kind of outside of our curriculum. It's called the Innovation Challenge. And so what we do, we pair students up with real startup companies. Those startup companies then pitch a pain point to the students So it could be, hey, I'm having trouble marketing. Hey, I'm ready to launch a new product and I don't know, what to do, what type of target audience I want. And so the students then work through elements of our curriculum to decide how they would tackle that problem as 8th and 9th graders. And then they do what we call a reverse pitch, and they pitch their ideas to the founders, and then the founders kind of choose if they want to implement their idea or not. So that's one of the programs that we do with students as well. Just some more pictures of students that we get to work with. Students in Virginia, students in Oklahoma. These are students that went through our research and development pathway, and they're kind of showing off their concepts and stuff. And then, as I mentioned, Global's in our name for a reason. That's me right up there. I didn't miss my flight on that one. But that was me, myself, and one of my colleagues. We got the chance to go to Thailand last summer and lead a entrepreneurship camp with the expat students. So roughly 60 students that live abroad with their parents, students that live in Morocco, Nepal, Saudi Arabia. And so we had the chance to be down there with them for a week and take them through an entrepreneurship curriculum. So we definitely enjoyed that. In the middle, those are students in India that we work with. You probably can't see it on their screen, but they're actually doing the Marshmallow Challenge. You might be able to kind of make it out, but those are the directions of the Marshmallow Challenge on that screen right there. In the top right, kind of a tearjerker right here for a little bit. This is students in Pakistan. And so this lady, her name is Samira, and so we had the chance to meet her. She runs an all-girls school in Pakistan in a very remote town, kind of on the border of Pakistan and Afghanistan. And for those that don't know too much about that area of town, they're not really big on women in education. And so, against the wishes of her own family, she decided to start this all-girls school called the School of Scholars. And so she teaches them STEM and AI, and she connected with us, and she actually did our youth entrepreneurship pathway with 20 of her students. The students deemed themselves as the future CEOs. They wanted to name their class, so they called it the Future CEOs. And so they went through our pathway. They created wonderful products. They then, Samira then decided to do a business fair in the town. 700 residents came out to support her business fair. All the girls sold out of their products. Some of the girls pictured here are actually orphans, and so they had enough money to cover rent for their family from the business fair that she put on. So, yeah, it was really, really awesome, really awesome. So it's amazing what kids can do when you give them the autonomy to really get their ideas out there. And then at the bottom, students in Nigeria, students in Mexico in the middle. We've all had the chance to go down to Puerto Escondido and work with these students. These students that are pictured right here, they actually they address kind of a social need and an entrepreneurial need. I guess diabetes is really big in Mexico, and so they came up with a sugarless chocolate, and they actually won their capstone presentation. And yeah, so they were really great. And then those are students in the Ivory Coast. And so speaking of that, so after students go through our curriculum and they go through one of our pathways, they then end with what we call a capstone pitch presentation, basically like Shark Tank, except we joke and call it Dolphin Tank, because we don't want judges biting their heads off and making them cry. So. But this is going to be the culmination of all their work. Everything that they learned during that semester, they're going to pitch it in front of a judges panel. And so this is not a competition amongst one another. It's really more so a competition against the high standards. So there's going to be a judges rubric about, hey, how was their pitch? What was their hook? Did they talk about their gross and their net? And so they go through that, and that panel can be like local business owners, people like yourself, community stakeholders, just to pour back into those students. And so typically, once students make it to this point, that's technically the end of our curriculum, so to speak, because we all know for some students, it's really hard to even get up and utter 2 words. So that's an accomplishment in itself just to make it to that capstone and get up and tell about your idea. But for those students that really get passionate during their, I have some pictures. Those are some pictures doing some kids pitching their ideas in front of judges. Up there, those girls. Okay, and so then, for those students that really get passionate during that time with our curriculum, we have created a very unique opportunity. We know for sure this is Oklahoma's first, and then we think it's one of the world's first student e-commerce sites called the Marketplace of Ideas. And so basically think Etsy, Shopify, Amazon for kids. That's what this marketplace is. And it's at kidvationmarket.com. Feel free to check it out right now and buy something. But this is all student products, programs, and projects that are on this site. and students get 100% of the proceeds from their products that they sell. Other than Stripe taking out their credit transaction fee, they literally get 100% of the proceeds. We actually lose money because we cover shipping, because we want to make it seamless. Project-based learning is all about getting your ideas out into the real world. And so this is our way of doing that for students, to turn them into e-commerce entrepreneurs. And then the same with social activism. If they go through social activism and come up with a really great program, they can onboard that to the website, and then they can seek donations to help fund it. With research and development, there's not a monetary component to it. It's just more of a showcase of their ideas in hopes that like maybe a university or a government agency can connect with what they're doing. And so just to touch on some of the things that are on the marketplace. So this young man, his name is Javier. He was actually one of the very first students that we worked with, middle school students. He's actually in high school now. But he ended up creating his own clothing brand called Hope Apparel. And this was actually just his prototype. And so he did that like on his mom's Cricut, like at home. Hope Apparel stands for the hope of people everywhere, because he wanted to come up with a inspirational clothing brand that was affordable for students. And so he came up with that, and so we helped him develop that. And so pretty cool. He actually ended up doing T-shirts first. And so his school, the superintendent, she actually bought T-shirts for the entire faculty. They surprised him during like Spirit Week, like you know how you do Twinkie Day where you dress like somebody. So they all were at school with his T-shirt on, and he didn't know it. And they surprised him and pulled him out of class and took pictures. So it was crazy. It was awesome. Up top, I know that looks like AI artwork. That is actually hand-drawn artwork from a young lady who was 11 years old. Her name is Aliana. She came up with her own coloring book. She sells those for like $16 now. She's probably already sold like 200 books. And so yeah, those are all hand-drawn images of anime. Beneath that looks like a pretty legit board game, and it is. That is a kid-created board game. We connected them with a graphic designer to help them design it. They now sell that board game for $40. And they have been making a killing selling that board game. And those are some pictures of it to the side, so you can see it's like a legit board game. And then up top, we have kids selling jam that they make from their grandma's fruit tree, a girl that does an amazing job with bath bombs. And so these are just some of the ways that kids can really get their ideas out with our curriculum. And then I want to brag on these students right here. These are girls in Virginia that came out with a female empowerment T-shirt line. They are actually the highest grossing kids on our website. When they dropped their T-shirts, they sold like $500 the first month. And so that's them holding their check that I mailed to them at the bottom, getting their first check in the mail. So how cool is it to be 9 years old and you receive a Kidvation check in the mail for $500, right? So just a little bit more about the curriculum itself, in case anybody's interested. Like I said, we work with traditional and non-traditional schools, so your micro school, homeschool co-ops, and hybrid schools. So with our curriculum, you get the curriculum actually itself, the full curriculum. We do a train the teacher or train the facilitator session. So right now, our curriculum is a train the trainer. We are working on an online self-paced course that we hope to debut in June. But right now we do a train the trainer. We have a teacher's guide that spells out all the content for you. We use an online learning management system. Kidvation Mind Mapper, which I'm going to show y'all in a few. It's a brand new AI tool that we use with our curriculum. One of the things that differentiates us from other curriculum providers is our implementation support. We're very big on relationships. So we stay connected the whole time. Like it's not a here's the curriculum, see ya, good riddance. We like to stay connected the whole time to make sure things are going good, things are going well. We've hopped on Zoom calls with teachers, with kids to talk through their problems. Like little Johnny's about to cuss, little Bobby out because he wants to do this. Like so, we've hopped on calls with kids to talk them through their problems. And then of course we like to promote the schools as certified Kidvation Global partners. We have a full and an accelerated version of our curriculum. The full is 36, accelerated is 18 lessons. They're roughly about 45 to 50 minutes in length. We recommend doing the curriculum at least twice a week. For my educators in here, retention is a big thing. So if little Johnny has an AAU basketball game on Monday, soccer Tuesday, whatever Wednesday, and he's only touched the curriculum one time a week, it can get a little hard. So we do recommend at least doing it twice a week. And then, of course, each child will get a certificate of achievement. Our online learning management system, we use a platform called Circle that houses our curriculum. So anybody that signs up with our platform, you would be onboarded to that site to get to our curriculum. This is just an example of like student-facing slide decks that go along with the curriculum. A little bit of the teacher's guide. And so the teacher's guide that comes with the curriculum is color-coded for feasibility. And so in each lesson, we have what we call like a get started warm-up. And that's basically kind of just an icebreaker to get kids kind of talking, moving, kind of like what we did with you all with the Marshmallow Challenge. We have our core content. In each lesson, we try to build in a challenge, something hands-on that's related to the product they're creating or the project or the program that they're creating. We have a big takeaway after every lesson. So if little Johnny was asleep the entire time, as long as little Johnny gets this big takeaway at the end, he should kind of understand what the session was about. And then, of course, in project-based learning, we love Socratic open discussion questions. So we have those peppered throughout our curriculum. Okay, so let's talk about Kidvation Mind Mapper. So Kidvation Mind Mapper is a pretty cool tool that we just developed with some partners in Sri Lanka. And so this is an AI-powered tool that helps students kind of brainstorm their ideas. Because we know students are really good at divergently thinking, so that means coming up with lots of ideas, but not so good at like narrowing those down to feasibility. So this tool actually produces mind maps of their ideas. And so if you can kind of see on the screen, we typed in glow-in-the-dark slime, right? And so when you type this in, there's two prompts. There's a development prompt and a marketing prompt. And so you type in what you're trying to create, and you hit develop, and then it's going to spit out this mind map in a matter of seconds to show you like these different nodes and show you like, okay, well, hey, did you think about what type of recipe you need to use for slime? Did you think about the texture? And so this is a pretty cool tool that comes with the curriculum. Okay, and I'm almost done. So I just wanted to take you guys through a quick little lesson, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Just going to kind of show you what one of our lessons looks like. And so this is our intro lesson for youth entrepreneurship. And so in our intro lesson, those are the only lessons that don't have a challenge built into that one. But this is just kind of what it looks like. And so opening question, again, no right or wrong answer, just a rhetorical question to get people talking and kind of set up, letting them know they have a superpower. The NASA George Land study, we just talked about that, so that's actually in our very first lesson. And so we go through that, and I'm just going to, a couple of more discussion questions, and then we actually get into what the Kidvation entrepreneurship pathway entails. And so bolded word, we talk about what entrepreneurship is. We have discussion questions to ask them about corporations versus, small-time entrepreneurs. Let them talk, let them kind of learn about that. We talk about what a prototype is, and so they can kind of understand that, hey, we're going to make a ugly prototype during this time. It didn't have to be the final product. We talk about what the capstone business pitch is, because it's always good if you have good ideas, but you have to be able to pitch it. We let them know that entrepreneurs are innovators. All these big major corporations started out as small-time entrepreneurs. It was Walt Disney and a mouse before it became Disney what it is today. And then we talk about, just your local entrepreneurs, that they're important too. Won't watch the whole video, but this is a video of Michaela Ulmer from Me and the Bees Lemonade. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she started this lemonade company when she was very young. She's like 20 now, and the company's worth $10 million. And so we just show this video so they can kind of understand, like, hey, ideas don't have to stay small. Ask them a few questions, and then we're at that big takeaway, as I mentioned. And so that big takeaway is just letting them know that they absolutely have the power of imagination and that they can do some really great things with it. Okay, and I'm almost done. Okay, so secrets of the Marshmallow Challenge. So we had our winning team back there, secrets of the Marshmallow Challenge. So as I mentioned, that challenge has been done on all continents across all age groups. Once you actually take out the engineers, the architects, right, which should hopefully make a good tower out of marshmallows and spaghetti sticks, there's two groups that do, or there's one group that does really well and one group that does not so well. Which age group do you think does really well on this challenge? Take a wild guess. Not you. He said, not me. I don't know, just not me. So kindergartners actually do the best on this. They do the best on this challenge. And the ones that do the worst are MBA students working on their business, their Masters of Business Administration. Because typically what happens is with them, First, you got to have a hierarchy. Who's going to be the Marshmallow Challenge CEO, right? Like, who are we listening to here? Who's giving the orders? Then you have to come up with the one best idea for the tower, right? Not a bunch of ideas, the one best idea. But with 5-year-olds, they just get in and start building, right? They don't even have a strategy. They get in, build, it falls down. Okay, do something different. Build, do something different. So they've already like iterated 10 different towers, right, before they know exactly what works. And so with them, they learned a concept that we like to talk about, how to fail, right? How to fail early, fast, and cheap. And so that's something that's good in life and in business, right? You want to learn how to fail early, fast, and cheap. And so 5-year-olds get that really well. And so it's all about learning how to fail forward. And that's one of the things that we like to teach students in our curriculum. And so I love this quote by John Maxwell: fail early, fail often, but always fail forward. Okay. And that's it. And that's us. So feel free to scan our QR code that has all of our links and everything like that. Feel free to follow us on social media. Yeah, turn it back over to Brittany.
Cool. Thank you so much. That was really fun.